yes. I wanted to continue off from what I was talking about last time, but what I didn't get to say. I already said what I wanted to say last time, and we'll just leave it at that. There are a lot of people that are doing research on it, and there's plenty of links that I left in that last video live that you can look up to learn more if you want to know more about that. So yeah, I have so much I want to say. I'm just trying to process it because I said I was going to write down notes, but then I'm always like, well, let's just do it spontaneously. Because I like to just wing it and go by my memory and things like that. So it's just me right now talking, but oh, there's one person. Hi, one person. I started a little early anyway. I've been really thinking deeply about my blocks and being stuck and wanting to do something about that, but not knowing what exactly, particularly because I'm so used to helping myself and being my own teacher for the most part, and then reaching a point. Hi, John. Hi, I'm good. And 4 other people too. They're all with me. They're all with me. I got all the animals with me. Apparently they can't all be with me. So yes, this is about my healing journey, basically. And back when I was a public figure, it was all about really sharing my journey with the world, and what it means to be awake in this time and that process. And it was also something that was hard for me to explain exactly why I could do things so easily and others could not. Because it came so easy to me, I never had to really think about the process. It was just there. And I think that's a big reason why I derailed and disconnected from that part of myself, because I really needed to understand how I got there, even though I got there through like such a dark point in my life. I mean, I lost my sister when I was 16, I lost my father when I was 21, and we were homeless, and we were going through all these things. I was going through all these things, and yet I was so connected to my spiritual side and my guides, and just had so much joy and excitement and hope for humanity. And love for humanity and their potential. Like I fell in love with human potential. And I was overwhelmed by spiritual messages, and that to the point that I couldn't do a 9-to-5 job. I just couldn't. I just wanted to share this information, and some of it would be quite psychic for people as well, and tend to freak them out. But that's where I decided, well, YouTube came out, and right when it first came out, I pretty much started making videos and just sharing everything I wanted to share. Hi, sweetie. Yeah, it was really surreal, because it was great to have a platform where I could just be myself in whatever way. And it was very raw, and of course not the best quality, as you guys remember. And I'm really doing this video, this live. I was actually wanting to wait until later on to show you the after. Basically, I want to always be an example, and it's still there, apparently. But it also is tied in with what I talked about last time, the spirit of delay, in which putting things off until later, because I don't want to just talk. I want to be action, and actions speak louder than words. What are your results, basically? And so that was very appealing to me. But then I was talking to some of you who are very loyal in following my lives, no matter how messy they are and raw, that it would be good to just share that process now, because that's also something I did. I mean, even my Bali blogs, they were super messy and unpleasant for me. I can't even look at them now, but, and I left them, I believe, as a cliffhanger. I don't know how people ended up reading. I know one part was over 400 pages, and people were just so addicted to them. They were like crack to them. They were just like upset when it ended. They're like, oh, when is there gonna be more? And I never finished it because it just really derailed me at that time. And so now I've been brought back. I've discovered a teacher, someone I've been waiting for a long time, and I'm extremely selective of who I work with. And there are so many spiritual teachers out there and sharing similar information, but I'm like, no. I mean, I prefer Anastasia because she's so pure, and like I was saying in my last live, she's wonderful, and I'll always love her and everything she does, but she is for a future further away that is so in a way it's sort of intangible, because it's how do we build a bridge to get there? We're just not there at this point. And it's the same thing for wanting to build heaven on earth, knowing that's my mission and being so frustrated because I haven't done much, just comparing myself with my past all the time. Oh, hearts, thank you. You guys are so sweet. It's because of you I'm doing this, because you guys have like supported me so much and encouraged me just to continue to put myself out there, continue to share, and even when I feel not as confident or anything in myself. But that's, again, the beauty of it, I guess. That's the rawness of it. That's the honesty of it. Seeing all sides, and in a way, it is like a a reality series of awakening, and reawakening, and reconnecting, and what does it mean to be spiritual, and what are, of course, tips and tools and things like that. But the journey, I think that's what's really connected me to, and you guys have connected to me so much. And also just the amount of how much you guys believe in me, even sometimes more than I am able to believe in myself. You just still see me doing my mission, and that's really carried me through a lot of challenging times. So this is I'm just so grateful to you guys. So this is a big gratitude video as well for you. Human potential is one of my favorite things to ponder. I know, right? I mean, it just frustrates me that it's been used to be so to destruct. Ugh. I can't talk. I'm so excited. Everything wants to come out at once. It frustrates me that it's been used for our destruction for such a long time. And it's just a matter of, like, if we live in an inverted world, if the evil ones have made everything inverted, all we have to do is reverse it. That's it. But we have to each do that work individually. I can't talk about heaven and earth and keep being even haunted by these images, or by my mission, or by my past and how I was before, which I'm starting to realize through this amazing teacher and Starseed University course that I'm taking, which I will get into. She was suggesting that we just do a little Instagram post about it. I'm illiterate with Instagram. That's something I think we will be learning in the course, which will be great. I just don't know how to work Instagram, and I don't like artificial filters either, and there's a lot of that. But anyway, I decided to make a long video live. Hopefully it won't be too long, but you know me. Talk about the power of womb magic. I'm so interested. Yes, so she knows all about it because I've been talking to her about this amazing course, this starseed basically called Z Urstar, who I found her because I like to often, like you guys, so many of you have messaged me saying, oh, I haven't thought about you for years, and recently you came into my mind, and I thought I should look you up and see what you're doing now. And they're still so proud of me, even though I feel like I haven't done anything yet. Like, what I did in the past is good, but I know there's still so much more. How do I get there? But anywho, that's aside from the point. So I had that too with Alex Collier, an Andronomen contactee who had been taken up on the spaceship several times, and had just wonderful insight, and just very, very pure, and just things that are are so fascinating. I can listen to him forever. And I found him when I was a young girl. That if you guys remember that story of those videos of this guy that knew me and I didn't know him, but he said these were meant for me. On the film back when I was working on film sets. So yeah, that's how long ago that I've known about Alex Collier. And then he also came into my mind recently, so I decided to look him up about 7 months or so ago. And just watching everything from him and just being so happy that he was confirming the messages and feelings I was getting about like heaven on earth and the dark ones, you know, being finished, their time is up, they will be removed. How exactly? When exactly? But yeah, I guess that's for I will get there too. Sorry. Jumping around. Anyway, he was mentioning about because he's quite old now. I think he's in his late 60s. And he feels quite tired from carrying this message and doing this work for quite a long time. And he was talking about some younger Andronoman starseeds that he was very impressed by. And he said, "Oh, her name is Z Urstar." And I was immediately intrigued because anyone that impresses Alex Collier is someone I'm curious about. I want to know. And I looked her up, and it was like listening to myself in the past. My past self trying to get through and send messages, and just such an amazing story. So the only reason I'm working with someone on her level and why I say she has this pure level is because she made this course, this workshop, through a telepathic connection with her unborn child. And then the child she had complete telepathic communication as to leading her to the father, leading her through the first birth of the baby Kara, and even her like while in the womb, and then after, well, I would say first birth because she actually only lived for 9 days and then died, and then came back again, basically. And there's just this amazing story on YouTube that she shares called Kara's Story, of how all that came about. And the fact that this workshop was written by a child is the purity, is what I'm looking for, is the child will lead the way. The one that possesses a heart of a child may enter the kingdom of God. And we talk about all that's been suppressed throughout time, like women and just true knowledge, but like no one's been more repressed than children. Like they're not considered wise in any tribes, even though they're very wise indeed. Particularly because, like I always say, when we are born, we know exactly who we are and what we came to this planet to do, but then we forget. We go through the amnesia veil. Oftentimes, it's also because we have parents that have they're not awake, and they have their blocks, which then end up, you know, affecting us. Even if they love us and they're doing the best they can, they instill these patterns like needing to fit in and things like that, where then we realize that if we were to talk about all the things that we see, other realms or even fairies, and then maybe we're not going to fit in with the tribe or be loved or accepted, so we let all that go. But that was really amazing for me. And then just this womb wealth kind of workshop that she presented. Now, for those who have known me for a long time, I have some serious blocks with money. Like I grew up poor. I was homeless a couple times with my family, and my mom was struggling with migraines, and no one would help us because we didn't have any money. And I just felt so frustrated with this message, like, only if you're wealthy do you deserve to be healthy. That's like this unconscious message that we're sending out, and it just made me very frustrated with money, among so many other things and atrocities we see done in the name of money. And yeah, and also just my connection with trees as well. I would always say I love trees. They were my friends. They would just They give fruit, flowers, leaves, shade, comfort, and beauty unconditionally, regardless of who you are, what you have, what you believe, and they never once say you owe me for my services. And I just wanted to be like a tree in that way. And so I had a real hard time valuing what it is that I did, because I just didn't like money, and I didn't want to think about it. I wouldn't charge for what I did. I would just give it away for free, because I just felt like just a waterfall, and I just had all this infinite amount to constantly give. And like I said, I didn't know anything about business at the time. I was very cautious about people doing things for money. Sometimes I felt like it can very quickly lead to exploitation and greed, and I didn't want that energy to taint. And so I don't know. It's interesting now. I think back, like, why didn't I look into my blocks with money, my relationship with money, when I was so connected to talking to all kinds of archetypes, like love. Well, if I could speak to the entity of love as a person, as with a like regular conversation, what would that be like? If I, speak to a tree, if you could speak to a fairy, if you could speak to anything, and it's amazing what comes through. But I never once thought about speaking to money. And she said in one of her videos about how, like, one day, while she was meditating, this like green goddess appeared to her in the window, and she was like tapping and tapping urgently at the window, and she was hesitant for a bit. Then finally she let her in, and she said, "I'm money, and I need your help. I feel like I'm being prostituted and pimped out by the dark forces, and I don't want this. I want to work with the light workers and the star seeds to help create good things for the world and heal the planet. But no one will talk to me. No one likes me. Everyone hates me." And she even realized, yeah, actually, I hate you too. We have this like hate towards money. We resent it because and I've met so many spiritual people who said, "Oh, I got a reading with a psychic, and they said that I will never win the lottery, even though I constantly buy tickets, because I was told I made a poverty um, kind of a pact with my guides, that I will live without it." And that's some sort of, we relate that towards humbleness, with gurus who don't. Hello, Jose. You know about Kara? But yeah, we associate it with humbleness and just enlightenment and consciousness, and it's the way the dark ones continue to siphon it out of people and make more and more people poor. It's our relationship with money. Just like I say, it's our relationship with our thoughts. It's our relationship with our emotions. They're not bad. They, like we tend to think, like, we shouldn't be angry, or I shouldn't be sad. Those are bad emotions, or negative emotions, or fear. No, they're keys on a keyboard, and we need to use them all. But just, we play within harmony. So I'm just very floored, because it's like, it's so obvious. Of course, I knew this, and then also just talking with my guides again. I know how I talked to my guides before. I wrote it down on a piece of paper. I told people that too. I would just say, write down on a piece of paper. It has to be that. Don't do it on a computer. It's better to just paper and pen and just have that physical connection and just get away from screens. And just ask questions. Ask any question that you're struggling with or wanting to know, and try to answer it the best you can. Don't worry about spelling, punctuation, or whatever. Doesn't matter. Write as if no one's ever going to see it. That's what I did, of course. And I said no one would ever see it, and then I ended up sharing it with the world, which became my poetry and things like that, and my message to humanity, which spoke to people so deeply. And I know that I have this unique gift where I can reach many. And so I totally lost my train of thought. just gonna quickly look at the comments here. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. Come back, thought. So it's about healing our relationship with money. It's about taking our power back. We can't wait constantly. Like, it just upsets me that, well, the white hats are going to do this or that. You're watching a movie, like I said before, or your bank accounts are going to be full when the quantum financial, what is it, system gets switched on or whatever. This is just bullshit. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen that way. We have to be able to manifest this and switch, and the only way you do that is by changing your relationship with money, and that takes like deep rooted, so writing things down, like I said. So that's where I left off. So you write the question down, you do your best to answer it, and then another part of you answers it, and that is your guides. And we can do that also with money. We were given some homework to read a book called Love is Money, which sounds like an oxymoron, that those two words don't go together, but they did. That was the original intention. If we look at the history of money and what it was originally used for and where it came from before it got so corrupt and used for such horrible things, right? But we're here to change all that. So what does that look like? We have to do that inner work. And I'm very excited to do this inner work again. I'm excited for you guys to see my process and my transformation and growth and taking you along with me on the journey. And I always felt that my success would be everybody else's success. I always felt like I'm a mirror. Whatever people saw or admired in me is the same thing in you guys as well. And the planet, and just help people remember that life is meant to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be a nightmare. We've created a living nightmare collectively. And I talked about, running and fighting in our nightmares, and or even just waking up rather than facing it head on for what it is and changing that story from a scary nightmare to a beautiful story, a powerful story, that we've always had the power. And it sounds so cliche and it sounds so simple, but there is so much wealth and information and knowledge in there if we can just take the time to just sit with ourselves. Like, even just, I asked her for assistance with cramping. I always have really, really bad cramps throughout my whole life. I've never been able to help myself with my cramps. And it's just so simple as, like I used to say, well, pain is a messenger that needs to be addressed to the right address. But what that means is actually, when you are in pain, rather than rushing to do this or that to try to immediately quell it or address the symptom rather than the root, or distract ourselves or whatever we tend to do, immediately knee-jerk reaction towards the pain, that we don't end up really listening to the body and just sitting with it and saying, okay, I am fully present with you right now. What do you want to say? I'm listening. And then it speaks. It shares, what it's always wanted to say. And like, when you're constantly, like as a little kid, and you want to say something, and it's constantly being put off. Like, no, not now. The news is on, this or that, right? It creates these deep-rooted pains within us. And then we end up doing the same thing with our own body, with our own mind, and then it becomes so chaotic. So that's why it's so important to just take some time away from the screen and just meditate, or as I like to say, I don't meditate, I sit out in nature and I speak to nature, or hug trees or whatever. That's another way too. But there has to be a communication. There has to be learning the language and willing to understand and willing to look at things no matter how unpleasant they are, particularly money. Like, I was just like, nope, money is this, and I don't want anything to do with it. I will manage through life my own way, and that's not the right way to go, because I was stubborn. I wasn't open to looking at it, and now I'm willing to heal that. I want to heal all facets of myself. I have to be an example. I have to walk my talk. If I say I and the star seeds and light workers are here to create heaven on earth, then, well, we have to be that example for everyone. And then the more and more people who understand and remember, I don't like to say secrets, but in a way, unfortunately, they are, because that's what power is secrets. And when, and secrets are gone, then so is the power. So they're really synonymous with each other. Just a sec, I'm going to see some of these comments here. I mean, just existing and holding the light is good, but I think it's not enough. Like, we don't give ourselves a chance. We put a lot of time towards just passing time, murdering time, as I like to call it. And if we are creators in training, what are we creating? What are we creating for ourselves? Are we creating stagnation? Another day, the same thing, and nothing changes? I know a couple of you people in this call particularly struggle with that. I know I struggle with that. But I mean, what do we want to create? Why aren't we working every moment of our life towards creating that, rather than wishing and hoping and then being resentful towards our dreams and our guides and God abandoning us for things not changing, or being always, expectations versus reality, how we imagine things to be. Money is energy, right? But how are we using that energy? It's like the internet. I have people that have messaged me or say, oh, I don't like the internet, it's bad. The social media is, just to brainwash and distract. And yeah, it is. It can be used that way. But of course, it can also be used to wake up many people as well. I just love the idea of constantly turning everything. I mean, if everything's inverted again, let's bring it right back to how it used to be, right? Let's correct that flow. Everyone can be in a better situation financially. We don't have to have this poverty, and it's just this greed is become like a dam towards the waterfall, this huge flow of currency, right? It's just blocking it up and hoarding it for everyone, and it's not healthy. It's just, that's not the way we were meant to live. That's not the way money wants to be used. But they also, see, that's the thing, like, we feel we're abandoned by God, we feel we're abandoned by our guides, or whatever you want to call it. And that's the saddest thing, because, like, they're there all the time. Like, we're never alone. We're loved beyond comprehension. And they're just waiting for us to realize it, waiting for us to just communicate, actually sit down and communicate. I want to talk to you. Why are they not talking to me? Because we're not really listening. We're too distracted in one thing or another. And believe me, there's just so many things. And media is working so hard to constantly distract us and pull us away towards realizing who we are, because they know we're waking up. They know we're close, and they're just freaking out and throwing everything at us they can. And here we are. Stagnation still is not the way to be. We have to challenge that. We have to explore. We have to push past it, and start creating anything, even just writing. What simple thing, I want you to ask yourself right now, what simple thing can you do to create right now? Some of you guys create music. What goes around comes around, true, but there's a lot of things that is we're unconscious about, that we don't know that we are sending around. We think maybe we're being humble with money, but are we really? What's underneath that sometimes is just unworthiness. We don't deserve this. If I have it, it's going to be destructive. I'm going to be destructive, or I'm going to lose myself, or I'm going to be in danger, because you become a target suddenly, and everyone wants a piece of you. So all these mindsets, all the wars that come from it, all that has to be addressed. Well, it's the same thing also as a kid. If the kid is told that the actions that they're doing are bad, then they immediately think they are bad. And if you only are told you're bad, that's the only idea you ever have. And then so you become it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But it's so subtle, like, because we think, like, in this course, it was interesting because she's like, well, you know, who wants money? And of course, like, do they feel like they're ready for money? And everyone's like, oh yes, yes, of course. And they use money and they're comfortable with money to buy groceries and this and that. But what about like a large portion of money, particularly with light workers and starseeds who just want to use money towards their mission, towards healing the world, towards building these amazing projects? I have such massive ideas inside of me that I get overwhelmed with it constantly. And I had at one point over 90 ideas and projects I wrote down and I lost it, but I'm sure if I sat down I would write it again. It would all come to me like that. That's just how my brain works when I write. And I haven't written for a long time, and I know I'm being called to write again, even finish my Bali blogs, and continue on sharing my adventures from going to sleep and waking up again, and seeing how beneficial it was. Like a lot of you have said, well, you know, I don't feel like you were derailed at all. I feel like it helped you a lot. It made me relate more with you. It made me feel more closer to you. And I don't think of it that way. So that was really interesting, and gave me a lot of perspective into why the heck I would choose something like that. And I'm sure you guys all have something in your life where like, why the heck would I choose something like this? So it was just what I also like about Z in her workshop is just that she says she doesn't do anything that we're doing it. She just basically provides the space. And that's just like a beautiful gift to have, to provide this kind of space for people to access this, because that's something I love doing too, is just, again, putting people in a frame of mind and a realization and a memory of, you know, who we are really and what we're capable of, and then just diving right into it and exploring it. And it's just I only did one day so far, one day, and on Saturday, and I woke up at 5 because for some reason I got the times wrong. For some reason, always. I can't get times right for the life of me, and she's in Costa Rica right now. But just the energy, there are hundreds of women. It's just for women right now, like, of course, with the word womb. There is one that's being in the works for men. She also is working on another workshop with her second baby that's in her stomach, a boy this time. So I just, again, find that so fascinating that workshops are being written while before conception, and then while in the womb and out of the womb, and just that's how it's supposed to be. And just these dreams that she has as well of just having a starseed school for her little ones by the time, you know, they're of age of 5 years old. And then, but not just that, but letting kids learn how to levitate again and all these natural things that was our birthright. I didn't know she was working on 5 books. I'm like binge watching her videos, and it's more and more just reconnecting me back to what I used to know so well, and how to get back there again, but even more so because I have to watch with, you know, we have to watch with comparing ourselves to others or to ourselves in the past or to ourselves in the future, particularly when you have an idea of who you are in the future, and you're not there. It's like, what the heck's going on? So these are all things we have to be like aware of within our mind and do that work to watch where what goes around comes around. So I mean, even when you're a mother and you're breastfeeding and you have, I remember one time, that's exactly what happened. There was a young mother that was breastfeeding, well, trying to breastfeed. Her baby wouldn't breastfeed her no matter how she tried. And she came to me for advice, and I said, are you fighting with the father? And she said, yeah. And I said, do you have some really like harsh thoughts right now towards him? And she's like, yeah. And I said, well, you're putting that into your milk and the baby doesn't want to drink it. You have to kind of be aware that they're very telepathic of these things, and it doesn't want those toxic thoughts in the milk. I said, you have to heal these thoughts and your relationship with him, and then she will drink, because, I mean, she was gonna die, because she wouldn't want formula either. So she did this work and healed herself, and the baby was drinking the milk right away again, breastfeeding right away. So, hi, Boat. So these are the things, like, this is, we cannot, whatever we think we can get away with ourselves, we can't within children. They're very telepathic, and they're going to pick that up, and we have to be examples as best as possible. Like, we owe it to them to make this world a better place for them. And that's what I love about Anastasia and Z, because I feel like Z is the more tangible example and the bridge that gets us towards the vision that Anastasia has. And yeah, I'm not wearing the pendant today. I decided to wear this because I thought, oh, it's going to look cool with the light, and it's green. The difference is you can now integrate all the lessons you learn from the experience you've had, especially the ones you have most residency to. Yeah, it's true. It's re-remembering what we always known and what I've always known. And I'm just so excited. Oh my goodness. And just how I felt, just she brought us directly to the money goddess herself, and we had our conversation with her individually. And I'm glad that it's recorded, because it's so easy to pass out with her voice. And so I need to, like, make sure I'm not comfortable when I do these meditations, so that I can really, really keep the memories as much as possible and not go into such a deep, deep sleep. And just beautiful space, beautiful visions and journeys with these wonderful, beautiful women that we're going to co-create with and lift each other up. I love that. Working with my star sisters, and they all have a part to play. Like, we cannot do it all on our own. Z has these visions, but she can't do it all on her own, of course. She needs to train and give these gifts and help people, as many as possible, because that's also something that the money goddess entity has asked her to do. And it's time. And we have to just, like, we don't need to hoard the secret or anything like that. We just have to, that's why I wanted to share. I want as many people as possible to know about these things and to remember these things. Even if you're, like, a male, you do have a divine feminine in you. Doesn't mean you are, trans or anything like that. It just means that you have that balance. You have to balance that aspect within you. And I like, females have their masculine within them, and they have to balance that. It's not that anything a woman can do, a man can do, or anything a man can do, a woman can do. Like, we're being conditioned constantly. A woman can do everything a man can, and a man can do everything that a woman can, and that's how it's supposed to be. That's the balance of the two. And when we are in balance and harmony with those two, and not fighting, and then fighting in our physical relationships as well, because we have so much unhealthy ideas about the opposite sex and our frustrations and experiences with them, and what we've seen in shows and with our family and friends and so on, right? So that's another thing that we have to look at and address and break these spells. It's just all these spells that are putting on us. Some of these comments throw me. Like, I don't know what this is, what's in my fridge. But I'm going to just ignore it. So yeah, it's, we have to look at that as well, and not let ourselves fall into repeat patterns. And I talk about this all the time, and it's just, it's such the, can't remember what I was gonna say. It's gone again. Yeah, I have to get rid of this person. They're throwing me too much. Sorry. Okay. I'm learning how to do this. I only learned how to do this recently thanks to you, Ami. So when you balance the divine feminine and masculine within you, and it is divine, there is a sacredness, there is a beauty to it, that's when you give birth to the inner child and that innocence again. Like, we must never lose our connection to that. And it can feel like we lose it, but it's just more as a dormant kind of a thing. But that memory on how to get back to it, how to embrace it. And cats are destroying my room. They're all in here and they're all making mayhem. So it's, yes, the divine feminine is returning to the planet, and these mystery schools should no longer be mystery schools. They should be around for everybody, to be able to process and realize. Like, that's what I'm just so excited about, is just everybody remembering who they are. Okay, I didn't do it right. I have to try it one more time. There, I think that might be it. There we go. Okay. And I'm just so excited about that, and I want to help make that happen in whatever way possible. I know I have a part to play, and I want to do it sooner rather than later. And that's, again, what this workshop helps do. It just kind of accelerates things, and also just healing all the trauma, historical trauma that we take on, particularly as like empaths and light workers. We take on so much, not just of our own, but others. Other stuff and our ancestor stuff and all that it needs to be addressed in this life, and it feels quite overwhelming. But like, again, I think that's why I say that we are the answer to our prayers, that God has more faith in us than we have in ourselves, and everything we're asking for, don't change the world. God's like, I did. I brought you to the planet. You said you wanted to do it. You said you wanted to be a part of it, so do it. Don't let all these things stop you and distract you, because there's a reason that you have, only so much time. That should be to motivate you rather than piss it away like we tend to do, because that's the spell that media is constantly projecting on us, trying to make us just watch endless shows. There's never-ending shows to watch, and things going on in the world that take away your thoughts of your creating, of what you want to create versus what they want you to create. That's a cool idea, Kale. I wonder and wish if they could make like a self-education school where the students come up with their own exams and teach themselves, like at Tychos Russians. Yeah. See, I think that, again, where the kids know what they want to be taught, and they make their own education, and they tell the adults rather than what we tell them what we think they want and need, right? That's, again, the listening part of listening to the inner child rather than ignoring and be, oh, you're just a kid. What do you know? Shut up. Yeah, I'm watching my show right now. The news is on, blah, 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 right? And again, every time I talk to parents, that particularly when they have starseed children, they're always just blown away when I tell them just really listen to what they have to say. They know a lot more than they're letting on, yeah, they will. When they feel comfortable, they will reveal. But if they don't feel comfortable, they won't reveal, and then eventually they'll forget, and that's also a crime that we mustn't allow to continue on anymore. And like this suffering in the world, this war overseas is just, it's unbearable. We are here in our, safe in our houses, and like, it's not going on there, but I feel it so strongly in my soul and my body and my bones. I feel so much for those people, and it's just like, how do we allow this to continue on? Like, it's just like earthquakes within myself and being, and I'm like, we have to stop this. We cannot allow this to continue on. I know so many of you guys are feeling it as well. And then there was also just another like Lahaina attack, DUA weapon in Chile recently as well. So all this just intensity constantly. creating all this pressure again. I guess that makes us into the diamond from the coal, the so seeming worthless piece of coal that I always talk about. Yeah, what else did I get lost in that emotion of feeling for the kids and for all the people. There's try to remember what else I wanted to talk about with this course. Just really wanted to motivate everybody and get them excited about life and our work and our mission, because if you're all watching this, you're a part of it. Whether you know exactly what you want to do or not, and I like that it's very spontaneous, that I don't know, each day, like, ideas just come to me spontaneously about what I'm gonna do, or how I'm gonna do it, and that's rather than having to plan all the time. I don't like planning. I like intuitive planning, I guess. When it feels like it just came out of thin air. And that's also a really beautiful thing about that video of Kara's story that Z shares, is that the baby says, I'm coming to teach you how to manifest things out of thin air. And telling the mother as it's traveling through, I'm traveling through the Crab Nebula right now. I'm in this nebula right now. Just that journey of coming to Earth and that excitement, and being her greatest teacher and reminding her of who she is. And every time she feels disempowered, or every time she even has a psychic attack, looking at it as an opportunity to grow and get stronger. Oh my gosh, I remember being that way and writing that in my poems. That reminds me, I do at some point plan to read out all my poems here, because they're very, very powerful stuff that really inspired a lot of my messages to humanity. And yeah, I'm just so glad that there are people like this continuing on this work, like she got really connected and awake around the time where I went to sleep again. So it's almost like a tag team sort of a thing. And it's just cool because there's also lots of sisters in my area, so we can hook up and work together. And yes, I can do my soul archaeology again. That's the name of the poetry book, but it's also just a technology too that we all have. And soul archaeology is linked to this discovering our soul technology, which is what we had not that long ago. If you're also aware of Tartaria, like even just in the early 1900s, we had free energy, and everything that pretty much we have today existed then. And so, like, that's what happens when you do this soul archaeology within yourself. Oh wait, she wants to. You didn't go to sleep, Jess. The skeptic phase was invaluable. I like that you say that. I have to constantly remind myself of that, so that's helpful to help me to remind myself of that. Because I don't always have the best relationship with that experience. But yes, it's very unique. I'll put it that way. It's a very unique experience, and I'm glad I wrote about it too, to document it. Now I have to. It's accessing that my mindset at that time, and being able to tie the mindset that I have now and the mindset I had in the past, because that's really what that writing is, and the soul archaeology is making these connections and these bridges. Because before I couldn't understand that girl. I considered her pretty much alien, and that's not a healthy way to go about it either, because we have to have this familiarity, this connection to know the roots. We're making these coordinates. How did you get there, right? What's the map? I mean, we carve our own individually, but we inspire others too, to parallel each other. So it's neat that we are all paralleling each other one way or another. Oh, thank you. It's such a small channel. But I do my best, and my puppies are not here right now, so I can't show you them. Um, but yeah, so hello, you made it. It's really late for you. The Real Canadian Rage. What time is it now for you? I don't know. Well, this one's not going to be too late of a video. I just wanted to share my first class with Z. It's my first time ever doing a class with anyone. And I just felt so strongly in my bones that this is what I need to do. Like, there is no doubt or hesitation in me like I always tend to have with a lot of other things, because I don't feel the purity that I need. I'm very protective of my energy. I'm not even 11, so it's not that late, depending on what you call late. I now wake up at 5 a.m. to do all my meditations and gratitude towards being alive and being here with all you beautiful souls, and meeting in the astral plane, and continuing our work and making our plans and how we're going to meet in person, and how we're going to do our mission. Yeah, it's out of, it is still available. I thought it was out of print. I thought I only had 100 copies, but it's still there. I don't know how to have access to the funds of it though, but I can also, yeah, I have to look into that. But it's something that I like to share with people, and it just came to me. I just started like pouring writing, as I usually do when I let myself write, when I'm not intimidated by and overwhelmed by myself when I write, because it doesn't let me sleep. I constantly will wake up in the middle of the night with new ideas or new things to add, and what section to add. Yeah, so it's but it's just amazing. It's quite the adventure when I write, and so I know that I don't need to be afraid of that, but I have been for some reason, and I'm trying to understand now why exactly. Because it's also just my greatest gift, and again, like, so many people feel so many benefits from it, and yeah, that's, I don't need to compare with others because it's there, and it's just cool to reconnect and remember all that. Oh, you usually go to bed at 4 these days, so I used to be a night owl, but not anymore. Don't have a phone number that I share here, but I have my website, my contact information, if you want to contact me and work more with me. But yeah, I'm so excited, and I'm just thinking if there's anything else I want to add and share from what she shared yesterday. I think I covered everything. Again, I just did it on the fly without writing down my notes in point form, which I will eventually do. How often do you do this? Lives? I should be consistent. I should do maybe at least once a week, but it's really, again, it's quite spontaneous. It's when I feel it, and I feel like I have something to say. But yeah. So I think that's it. It's this is probably gonna be one of my shortest lives yet that hasn't been interrupted by censoring like last time. Like I said, if you're interested in that topic, I don't need to talk more about it, what I talked about in my last live, but there's a lot of people out there that are doing that research, and I shared quite a few links that you can look into if you want to know more about that. So yeah, if you have any questions, now's the time to ask it before I close the live. I'm so grateful that you guys joined me and listen to me go off about this. And hi, see, there's some people that are just showing up now. But yeah, I'm just so grateful for, I say it all the time, thank you for you being you. You say I helped you so much, but you've also helped me so much, and I'm excited to see what we're going to do together, to co-create together. I'm good. How are you? These are the questions, as there's still more people coming in for some reason right while I'm finishing it up. But anyway, I love you all so much, and yeah, let's do this. Big hugs. Bye. Yeah, I'm leaving, sorry. It's done. It's okay. It's recorded. You'll be able to see it shortly. I'm going now.